And hello, movie lovers. And tonight I'm actually joined by Jensen Johnson, Tamika, Rossi, my good friend and co-host, and of course Tamika's also one of my good friends as well. And then of course I have ACS Universe here with me, Anthony, and I also have Jules from Scene Invaders podcast. And we'll be dropping in Dawn in a few minutes, and then after that we're gonna Jamie's here too. So she's just arrived. So we're gonna be getting this party started. I can't wait to talk about episode 7. So with that being said, someone just tipped over the microphone, but that's okay. So we're gonna start. So we're gonna go on ahead and get this party started now.
What up?
Hey, friends. Sorry I'm late.
Hey, this is actually the first time that you actually say you were late and then you're actually late.
Actually was. I say it every week. I'm so sorry, John. I might be late and then I'm early for like 20 minutes.
Hey, you're late to never, though. It's always good to have you here, Jamie. Seriously.
Yeah.
Don, welcome as always. I do appreciate you too.
What's good, Don?
All right, so we're going to get it.
Sorry, guys. I was in the middle of making a thumbnail and late for that reason.
It's all good, man. It's all good. So we're going to be talking about the 7th episode in The Last of Us.
To the time, so.
No, you're good. It happens.
No worries.
But like I said, we're going to be talking about the 7th episode in The Last of Us. This is actually called Left Behind, and I'm just going to give a little brief synopsis of what this episode entails. Ellie and an injured Joel shelter in an abandoned suburban house. As Joel approaches death, he urges Ellie to leave him and find Tommy. She tells him to go to hell, remembers her time in Fedra military school, which she attends with her best friend Riley. So that's a little bit of a brief synopsis from my notes that I actually picked up myself. So here's the thing. I definitely like how it picks up right where we left off at, because at first I wasn't sure if it was just going to go to black and then go into her DLC, because that's basically what winds up happening. It goes into her downloadable content episode. So I was wondering if they were going to do that, but no. I like how they do it within a flashback, questioning her own motives and wondering what would happen if Joel winds up dying. And it seems like everybody's just dying around her to the point where she gets attached to someone and then they leave. And then I also like how they have the song playing. I forgot the name of the song, but I think it's either by Soundgarden or Pearl Jam. But it describes how she's actually feeling being alone and not having her friend around. So it's very, to me, very foreshadowing in that kind of sense. But I definitely like how this episode was shot, and I thought it was actually really smart about how they did it. What about you guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just want to chime in real quick because I was really thirsty over this one scene where they were jumping. Sorry, but I really enjoyed it. It was when they were jumping across rooftop to rooftop, and it was stunning. It looked so good.
Oh yeah, that was really good,
wasn't it? Yeah. And I was getting really excited over something stupid like that. And then at the end, I was like, that went on way too long. Like, why was I excited about that? But I wanted to ask Anthony. I was like, I need to ask Anthony. Is that something in the game that was like long and drawn out that you had to get like from rooftop to rooftop?
Yeah. Pretty much. It's not to cut you off though, but no. I love the differences, and that's one of the joys of getting on this panel every week. Is I've played it a bunch of times, and the series is absolutely incredible. So like seeing the differences and also the similarities and the things that they get right. Like again, I've run out of words to describe how fire this show is. It's fucking incredible.
I enjoyed that too. That scene too, Anthony, because I remember when they cut to that, you get really excited because you recognize that from the game, and it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna go right into the DLC, and so it was really exciting seeing that because you remember that, and I remember just getting really excited when they go to the flashback scene and going to show basically how she got bit. So I thought that was really cool as well.
Yeah. Again, 10 out of 10, bro. They nailed it. They changed what they needed to change, and they kept what they needed to keep the same. And it just pops off the screen for me. It's hey, look, every time this show comes on Sunday night, it's just a treat for your boy because I'm just a fan of all of the source, and I just sit back and I'm just like splendid. You know what I mean? Just like it's just great. So yeah, no, this episode was incredible.
Yes,
I definitely agree. And, another thing I liked was the drill sergeant part where he's telling Ellie and saying, look, life has choices and consequences. If you go down the road that you're going on, you're not even going to even think about getting promoted or anything like that. Here, either you can take the keys or you can keep doing what you're doing. And I like how she goes, well, you can throw me in the fucking hole if you want.
Right.
That doesn't do any good, Ellie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he also said her Harry get caught in some tank roller thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, well, that's a violent motivational scene. Comfortable. I was like, I take the keys then.
For sure.
That's funny.
But yeah, I thought this episode works. I thought that the rooftop scene that Jamie was geeked out over was the same feeling that I felt whenever I was watching it, because I remember jumping from rooftop to rooftop and everything too, and doing what they were doing, because I'm wondering, okay, where does this go? Where does this lead up to? Right. And then seeing it in this live action adaptation, and it just made me geeky, really giggly and everything, really happy to actually see something like this. Mm-hmm. And, the job of the director is not to understand not to get everything within the source material, but is to basically understand the universe that he's trying to create, while also trying to create this universe, is trying to benefit off of how to actually adapt this live action adaptation. And that's what makes it smart. That's what makes it different from the video game, and why we appreciate it so much, because he understands the source material while also adapting into other territories. And I thought that was a very smart thing. And then you wind up seeing the mall, and I like how Ellie just looks at her friend and wait, I thought this was abandoned. Why are we going in here? She goes, look, I have a surprise for you.
Right.
And so they go into the mall, and this made me have nostalgia feels all over again and stuff like that. Going in, and this is actually in Boston, but I'm like, Dad, this is not Square One Mall. This is not the mall I remember. But it just reminds me of going into the mall and just being with friends, and then going over into the arcade area. I definitely love seeing all those old stores, and then Victoria's Secret. Yeah, that was also another thing that I thought was
we know you like that, John. Okay.
Yeah. I was actually gonna get me that same outfit, by
the way. Like Ellie picturing yourself.
Yo, pics or it didn't happen, John. Pics or it didn't happen.
Damn.
I'm not sure I want those pics.
I gotta say that.
No offense, John.
No. Okay. Just send them to Anthony. Anthony's eyes only. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's for Brand.
He'll be my only fan on OnlyFans. So yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Brandy.
Oh man.
Yo.
But yeah, though, I appreciate this so much. But what do you guys think of the whole setup with the mall and her, and basically Ellie's just telling you, hey, look, if you come back with me, we can still be friends. We can still do what we've been doing. Right. And she goes, what happened to your face? And when some girl tried to jump me, well, let me go on ahead. I'll fuck her up too. And she turns around and says, I already did that already.
Destiny, I already fucked her up.
No, I love the two of them escaping, leaving out, and then Ellie's wondering what when they get to the electric room with the boxes, and Ellie's thinking, are you gonna kill me? Like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And she's like, just go to the next room and open, and you'll see. And just when the lights come on when you enter the mall, it was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful, because if you played the game, you know what's coming up. Yeah. And I love the carousel scene, and and also the scene of Ellie looking at the escalator, guys, because remember, she doesn't. That's new to her, so that's like a ride to her. And how Raleigh's like looking at her and how she's clowning on this escalator, but it was so cool because you remember, that's right, she didn't get to see those things. So that's so new to her, and her just having a fun time. But I love that scene. I was excited about the mall scene, and just to see the mall light up, and the carousel was awesome to see that, because it was in the game.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think those were two of my favorite scenes too. Was when the lights come on, the rolling lights like through the hall, and the escalator scene was so funny.
Yeah,
it was so funny.
Great.
But I'll tell you what I think my favorite part of this episode is. I really feel like this episode is a mirror to episode 3, the Bill and Frank episode, because we get to see sort of a love story, but through teenagers' eyes this time. It's not quite as long. It's not the same amount of time, but we really get to see how two kids in this world are sort of figuring out love, and because they're shy around each other, they don't want to hit on each other, they don't want to touch each other. It's very playful, flirty in the beginning. It's awkward, definitely awkward, but you can see the tension. I just like the way they played that against the Bill and Frank episode. I thought it was really well done.
That's interesting. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
And they're more mature for their age because of what they're going through. They're not, the scene happening, and you're thinking, gosh, they're so young, why would they do that? But what they are going through, they're much more mature than kids, at that time or before, way before that time.
Yeah.
So for them to play off of that, plus you get a sense of that in the game as well. You get what's going on, and you get that they are best friends. And I love the way that they approach, the topic and the scene. I thought it was really good as well.
Yeah. And I think one of the nice things about this episode is that, like, Ellie, like you said, like she's had to grow up so fast, but like you get to see both her going through like the stages of being a child and like having fun going to the mall with her friends, and then also in the same breath you're seeing her go through that like middle high school, like finding your first love kind of thing. So like it's refreshing to get to see her experiencing like normal things.
Right.
One of the things I like about it is it actually calls back to their argument when Joe was like, "You don't know anything about loss."
That's what I was thinking.
I was like, "Oh yeah." I was like,
"Depth to her story," in that sense.
Yeah, I thought that. Honestly, I thought it was interesting that they would adapt the DLC into an actual episode. Like, that was it. Because honestly, like from the game, when I saw Joe get sad, I was like, "Oh crap, this is the part that I hated the most." Is Ellie and getting through the thing, but. It was a great way to loop it back around. Especially her looking at the end, like, okay, what am I going to do to save Joel? And then it's like, once she finds it, it's that automatic, the way they looked at each other was like,
the father-daughter dynamic.
Awesome. Well, and it's so well done because even though we've played the game and we know what's going to happen, there's moments like the end of the last episode. I'm like, are they really going to just do it now? Like, are they just going to? Are they just going to just say screw it and just get rid of it? Like, they still make you feel that like there's a chance we could lose, people here. So I like the way, even for people that have played the game, where there's still those moments of like, oh, I don't know how this is going to go because they've changed things, so they can change this a little bit and really mess with me.
And there was a couple of spots in this episode where coming in. Okay, so if you would have told me that you'd be like, yo, there's going to be these things in here before the season started, I'd probably like, I don't know if they'll do that because I've watched TV adaptations before, so like, but then. Since I've gotten this far in the series, I was like, "Oh, they doing that? The masks, the masks that they had." Let me tell you something. I Sunday, so before I went to replay the DLC one last time because I played it a billion times, but I went play it again before the episode aired. And as I was playing that particular scene, I was like, "Oh, no doubt, mask." Now, if you would have asked me that before the show started, I'd be like, I don't know if they'll do it. But they've kept it so consistent and so fire, like close to the game, that I'm like, they have to do it. And it didn't happen in the way that it does in the DLC with the mask, but they still included it, and they still included the dance on top of the glass casings inside of the store, whatever. All of that stuff is just like. If you'd have asked me that before the show started at the beginning of January, I'd be like, I don't know if they'll do that or not. But then we've gotten this far, and they've really kept it close to the chest. I was like, they have to do it, and they did it. And
it's a true adaptation. Most because of The Walking Dead. Most shows like this that has this sort of similar premise would have went full Walking Dead and just had something.
There was some romance in Walking Dead too.
No, but what I'm saying is, Walking Dead, there always had to be action.
You did real good there, Daily.
Hey, no, that's
I'm
true.
keeping it together, guys. I'm keeping it together.
No. I don't mean it as a
Like,
bad thing. I'm just
me.
saying that show, the way it's structured, is very action. It's there has to be always, you know, where this show is really taking its time, and like this episode, we get the end where they get, you know, bit and all that, but for the most part, this is just a character-driven episode.
Definitely.
So it's just a difference in how they're handling it, which surprises me because, like you said, I would not have thought this before.
Yeah,
right. And that's something. That's something that I actually talked to my coworker about. She goes, "This show is so much different than The Walking Dead because because they play it safe off The Walking Dead and everything, not disrespecting it or anything like that. But it's a different monster that compared to The Last of Us in a sense." And I said, with these, you actually know that there's not going to be someone that's going to save the day with these characters. You know that there's some sense of danger with them. You know that Daryl's not going to come in with a crossbow and stab somebody in the head or anything like that.
Yes.
So you have that sense of danger of, oh my God, these characters can go at any moment. This is a different type of level than what we're used to. The rules are different and more layered out. And also, too, you also have a cure versus how they played it off in The Walking Dead. So you have different types of beats within this universe that I really like. And I said this to her, I said, you can't get used to these characters. You cannot get attached to them because of the fact that anybody can go at any given moment. This is actually realism within a zombie apocalypse. This is what real life is in those eyes with these girls. And especially with the photo booth. I love the photo booth stuff that they did.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
When you play the DLC, so me and my wife we're watching the episode on Sunday, and the grin on my face is ridiculous. And I was just because when you play the DLC, you get to pick the poses. Like they'll
right.
Poses, awesome. And it's they did all the poses, like literally in the thing, and they were just like wings and all of that shit. And I was like, whoo, you're killing me right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so accurate. I was just like, like when you play it, like obviously when you're playing it, it's a different beast. But when you see that sort of care shown, and they've shown it this entire season, it's just not now. But when you get reminded of the type of care that the creators are taking with adapting this game. It just makes you smile. You know what I mean? It's just like I was smiling. She's like, "Is that in the game?" She looked at me and I was like, "Yeah, that's in the fucking game." Like literally, and literally, you're hitting L1 and L2 to pick the poses. Like they're poses, and you're hitting, it's incredible, man.
Yeah, I thought it was a great date. It would have been a date. I would like somebody to.
Right.
This sounds bad.
Especially in that world,
and take me away.
Right.
Okay, Tamika.
The zombie apocalypse.
The zombie apocalypse.
It was really romantic, you know, because Riley, she took time and care to just set all this up. For Ellie and just, you know, pick out her favorite book, her favorite video game, which, like John said, was nostalgia because I remember playing Mortal Kombat 2 in the laundry. And then they used to have them at movie theaters. So I remember doing all of that. And I mean, wow, it was just very good. And then I forgot about the guy. I was really mad with Riley too. I was like, you didn't check all these stores. Like, when was this guy here? Right? And she was sleeping there. And he's like in the All American Girl store, which people have speculated, why is this grown man in the All American Girl store dead? So I wasn't sure.
Why he looking for his daughter, okay?
Yeah. He was just going to work. Okay, he was bloody working and he happened to die.
His daughter got him killed. Okay. And I was trying to figure out why she didn't check every store because I was getting involved in the game and then they panned over to this guy and I was like, oh crap. You know, this date's gonna be ruined.
You know what's awesome about that guy though? I do have to say this. I thought it was beautiful how they had him laying there in the colors of, I just thought that scene right there was really beautiful how it looked, the colors around him.
Color scheme was really cool.
Yeah, the colors. I mean, because you remember those colors in the game, and I just thought that was a beautiful scene. But Tamika's right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. He was in the doll store. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he had his running shoes on too.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Tamika's is mad because
I'm sure we're gonna talk about that scene, but
you're just throwing this guy in the bus right now.
I'm just upset why she didn't check the store.
Right.
This just ruined the date for me. Okay, I was on this date too. Even though I was
very invested in this date.
Yeah, I was enjoying the carousel before it broke down. Yeah, we were looking at books.
Let's talk about that for a minute too, Tamika. Okay. I love the carousel scene.
I'm sorry, I'm just upset.
Yeah, no,
it's okay. It's okay. The guy C blocked your date. I get it. Okay.
Nobody invited me.
Nobody invited him.
I think I did see a white man in the parking lot when they were going inside.
He could have been a predator.
I definitely love the carousel ride. The carousel thing was very sweet and very nice touch to everything, and shows the innocence of the children of being who they are, and also to get rid of a little bit of the awkwardness that they felt between each other, and being able to have that connection a little bit more to where they're talking and vibing. And then she's like, well, carousel's dead, but guess what? There's more. So they go on ahead, they go over to then they wind up going over to the arcade area, and of course that also pulls on nostalgia factors for me though as well. Yeah, because of the fact I spent hours in Boston at fun times or good times and playing different arcade video games over there, and getting to see that again in that color scheme, and it looked like for us as teenagers, it looks like Vegas because of the way the lights are shining, and that's actually according to how they actually see it too. So me as an audience is taking this in, and we're going on this date like Tamika said, and we're like, okay, so where are we going next? Because I was like, I'm just getting just excited as she was. I'm like, okay, where are we going?
Girl, where are we going? Yeah.
And I love the care, like Tamika brought up, the care that Raleigh put into that, but for Ellie, who hasn't had that type of love, like someone to do something like that for her. But I just thought it was awesome because out of everything we've seen so far, to see her get that was great, with Raleigh, and then they get attacked. And that was a pretty cool scene as well, them fighting off the attacker, and Ellie really going hard to make sure that Raleigh was okay. Like, that love for her was awesome. But then to see that they both got bit, and at that point, Ellie doesn't know that she's the cure, and so I'm so anxious to see what happens next with that.
I am too.
Yeah. The carousel. Look, that's one of the when one of the final trailers for the show was released. The carousel scene, when you just they only really just briefly show it. If you play the DLC, you're like, for real, bruh. Like,
I saw it.
When you saw it, it just like it. If you weren't already excited for the show before it came out, that little bit, I was like, man, they're going all out for this one.
Absolutely.
But the carousel scene was dope, and just this particular DLC, like when it was released, it kind of got lost a little bit, and I think like when the Last of Us was released remastered for the PlayStation 4 in like 2014, like in the summer or whatever, this DLC had come out, but like it just got lost between the release of the PS4, Grand Theft Auto 5. There was just so much shit that came out that like when this finally came out, it was $15 and it was only on PlayStation 3. So you had to I remember I had to play it on my son's PlayStation just because he still had a PlayStation 3. That's the only way I was able to play it. I had a PS4. Yeah, he had a PS3. I had a PS4. So the only way I could play this DLC was on his, and it was incredible. And I think they captured the absolute essence of that, because a lot of people I know weren't willing to pay $15 to play it because the game had come out 7 or 8 months beforehand, and this was the first DLC for it. So I was just like, I'm playing it. I don't give a fuck. The game is fire. So and it was a good experience, and I'm glad that I did play it at that time, because it gave me, like, just watching that episode gave me a level of understanding. You know what I mean? Just knowing, just like, the way that the DLC starts and the way that in the episode, the way it starts. And if you play DLC, you know, like Joel, they're not at a house, they're at a mall. Mm-hmm. Not the same mall, but it's a mall which gives Ellie pretty much those flashbacks. So she has Joel in sort of what kind of store is it? It's some kind of shop at the mall where she's pulled the gate down and put a padlock on it. Wasn't
it like a convenience store or something like that?
Something like that in the mall.
It was a store. Yeah.
She locked them in there with the padlock.
The gate went down.
Yes, and went through the mall to find medicine for him.
Right.
And so
she's reminiscing because she's in the mall and they're in the mall now. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Right. So like the DLC switches from you going through the mall to find that, and then it'll jump straight back to Riley, and it'll show the scenes with Riley, and then it'll come back to Ellie. I love it when people haven't played it. I like to take, because it's like I get excited just talking about it. But that's literally what it is.
Same feeling, which is what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you the exact same feeling. But it is. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and it jumps back and forth pretty much throughout that entire thing. But I told you I was replaying the DLC Sunday before the episode. And I got super pissed off because I just kept getting killed at this one point. I'm like, I played so many times. It was mad hard though, but it's. I'll just say this: the way they adapted that to this episode, I don't think I've ever seen anything in pop culture adapted on that level, and you still get the same emotional response that you did when you played it for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's absolutely incredible. What up, Joey? What's good?
That's good.
Yeah. Why am I supposed to? Yeah, he's right. He's right. Yeah.
And what was exciting about the DLC was the fact that I know with me playing the game, you didn't want the game to be over. It was just so good. So then to be able to go to the DLC and play that, it was awesome, because I remember I didn't want it to end. So when the DLC came out, it was like, awesome, I can get back into it and play it, and then learn a little bit more about Ellie, her friend, and all that. So and like you said, seeing those scenes, it really did make you excited, because it's like they did it. They brought it there, and I have that same feeling I felt when I played the game. So it was really awesome to see that, and it was just so sad to see the two of them contemplating on what they're going to do after they get bit. It was just, and Riley's like, we're just going to live our life. We're just going to, pretend like it didn't happen, basically. And we're just going to go on and see what happens afterwards. And that scene was just, I was just crying. I was just tearing up with them. Yeah, it was really sad. But I love that scene of the two of them just figuring out, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
Man, they know how to shoot this type of show. This genre of show, because they take you through the full gambit of emotions in these episodes. Just like I have no idea what's coming next.
Right. And those actors are great. The two young ladies, Bella and unfortunately I don't know the other girl's name that plays Riley, but
Storm,
they did such a great job. I mean, what great actresses to portray that, at such young age.
At such a young, I was going to say at such a young age. Like, it's impressive.
Yes, it was very impressive.
The way they're acting, you actually forget that they are little girls.
Yes.
And then whenever they have that little taste of innocence, you're like, oh, they are little girls. They're not grown adults. Because when Ellie does something that's so grown up, and you realize that she's growing up fast within this world, it's like, then you quickly remember these moments of like, oh, she's still a child, but yet she has to grow up in this world so fast. So that's the key elements that I really liked about this. And this episode got a lot of controversy. I don't know if you knew about that, which pissed me off this morning whenever I got a notification. And they call this one person. This person should be a 5-star reviewer, the way he reviewed this stupid thing, the way he reviewed this episode, because it pissed me off.
Wow.
One person tweeted, "I'm going to call The Last of Us the woke Walking Dead." It's still solid though. Way to go! I can't wait to read more of your stupid review.
It's not woke. That's the game. If you play the game,
literally
the game.
it was in the game. You got what was going on. You got that they liked each other.
Read the comics. They don't play the games, and then they little comments.
Like,
is absolutely
the game was out in like 2014. This happened. Like they had this relationship. You know.
Yeah.
It just pissed me off.
Had that relationship. They just you knew what was going on. So it's nothing. They're not being woke. It happened.
Yeah.
People like that act like they add shit in and get riled up. Like it's so dumb.
Well, it got John riled up because he messaged me growling like
so once you tell me good morning and I'm like, what do you want? Because you tell me good morning, I send you out the invite, you're like, I can't wait to be on. This person pissed me off. You're like,
this bitch thinks it's work. You should be watching one. It's like what?
Today, John.
It wouldn't be like,
right?
This ain't work.
No, it's not. It's not.
Like I said, I can't wait to not read more from this stupid douchebag. You know what I mean? Because I've seen like worse IMDb reviews that people have done where it's like, this movie sucks. Well, way to go. I'm glad that you wrote your review with a crayon. I'm so proud of you.
There's no excuse too, because you can see it on YouTube. There's like scenes you can see on YouTube. So there's no excuse to be that ignorant.
Right. Well, but they just take something and they run with it instead of enjoying something for what it is. Exactly. And sadly, that's how the world operates. Instead of just enjoying something, instead of it just looking at it into the context of what the show is, and instead of just running away with, oh, this is PC or this is woke, and just shut up and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. They made it. It was responsible the way that they did it. I thought it was. It was cute. I mean, if it was a boy and a girl, would it be not? Would it not be a problem?
No issue.
It was done great. These things
I think it was quite tasteful, actually.
It was very tasteful. It was cute when they kissed. I thought it was appropriate because two young girls. That's exactly what I feel like they would do. They were nervous. It was cute and. Yeah, I didn't see anything wrong. They did it appropriately for their
and that all of that happened in the game. Literally happened. The masks weren't there, but they danced. It's a little bit more extended in the DLC, but they danced, and it's a fucking excellent. It's excellent. It's an excellent scene. And then they kiss, and she says, "I'm sorry." She says, "For what?" And then you're like, "Hey, this is It's great." Yeah. And they did it.
I like how it cuts to black like that, though, man. I like how it cuts to black where we know what's going to happen with Ellie, and everything. But I like how it's her trying to deal with the loss of her girlfriend and trying to figure out how to move on from that. And how to cope from that, and then realizing, wait, why am I bitten? Why am I still here? I should be with her. And it's kind of feels like that she's damned in a sense where she's secure, but at the same time she can't be with the person that she wants to be with because she's stuck here. So that's the way I look at it.
Do you think that we're going to see that part 2 of her realizing that she's not bit, that she's bit, but she's not dead? Like, or is that?
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
Are they going to close it there and just let us, like, because we know Riley doesn't make it, obviously. So do you think that they would just leave it hanging there, or?
Well,
they did it
I'm trying to remember how long was it? How long was it from in the first episode? I mean, of the show, because she says it's been like over 3 weeks since I was bit, or something like that.
Oh,
yeah. No,
that's the first episode where they have her chained up. Yeah, that's the very first episode.
To the first episode.
So it's about about a month ahead, about a month before the first episode happened. So
But
you remember in the previous episode when the little boy was bit and Rowley thought because she had the cure, she thought she could cut herself and just kind of rub her blood on his
Ellie,
you know. So Ellie, so and see, so this was before. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, here's the thing, though, too. To Jamie's point, is we don't exactly know why they didn't just shoot her.
Well, see, this is
right.
This is a little bit of the stuff that, like, between the show and the game that are kind of, because when there's a conversation in the first episode when Ellie's talking to damn it, what's her name? The head of the Fireflies. She's talking
Marlene.
Marlene, and she says, "I put you in this school, right? I put you in this whatever." Why did she put her there? Does she know? Right. Like, well, what's good? Because in the game, it's sort of like that to a certain extent, but like, there's nobody that just outright says, "I put you in this school," because
right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, like, what. She maybe she knew already, and she put it in. Well, and I think we'll get a better idea that, I don't know if it's going to be this next episode or the last one, but we still keep seeing in trailers the scene with Ellie's mother holding her when she's a newborn baby. So maybe that explains something to us, I guess. I don't know if Ellie's mom was bitten and Ellie was born not infected, and then Marlene was there when that happened and goes, "Oh shit, not infected. Put her in this school. I need to keep track of this young one for whatever reason." So I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but
okay, it's kind of like Blade.
Right. Yeah, Blade is fire, dude. But I remember that. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Go on ahead, Jen.
I was just going to say that would make a little bit of sense too if there was sort of a backstory like that, because that captain that was like basically giving her the ultimatum, as Tamika was talking about earlier, he was very forgiving for somebody who, you know, she seems like a bit of a troublemaker, always going in a hole, things like that. So for him to be so lenient to her, like, why? You know, like, yes, he thought she was smart, but like maybe there's another reason, like he has to protect her because she is the cure or something.
Well, this is what I was thinking with this, because he said to her, "I see you as a leader. I see you as someone that can take charge."
Yeah.
And that's what he was trying to use her for, someone to take charge. And then you go over to her friend. Her friend's got the shit job, which is what Joel was going to take and everything. She goes, "Yeah, it worked out well for you, but look at me. I'm going to be in the lower class cleaning the shit and basically standing guard." And so it worked out well for Ellie, but for her it didn't. So no wonder why she wanted to run away. But the job of that officer is to see where they can be useful, where she can be useful at, and he knows that she has great leadership skills, and that she can further advance herself by doing that. So it's about where I can use you, how can I use you, and basically, if I can use you somewhere, I'm going to use you. That's what I got out of it.
But also, the job pays more too, right? Sorry, the job pays more too. The sewage detail,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, probably.
I don't see somebody smile like, you know what? Damn it! I might smell like shit, but I got paid more. I can't wait to. But yeah,
that's funny.
But another thing,
the disappointment that Ellie had with finding out that Riley was a part of the Fireflies. Remember, that was just it's like it broke her heart to find out that she's on that other side. You know,
very Romeo and Juliet.
I was going to say earlier.
Yeah. That's true. Which is a sort of in the game, I guess Riley had been talking about doing that for a while. So in the game, when she finally says, "I'm a Firefly," Ellie's excited for her. Like, "Oh, you did it." You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a difference in the attitude between the show and the game. Like, Ellie's literally like, "Oh my God, you really fucking did it." Like, and so that's a difference. And I'm guessing just because the politics of the show, there's like between the that stuff's not explored really in the game. Between the Fireflies and Fedra or whatever, like down, like really getting down to some politics of between those two factions. So maybe that's why it's a little bit different. Like Ellie's attitude towards Riley for joining the Fireflies. I don't know, but it's in the game. She's excited for her. Like, "Oh man, you did it." You know what I mean?
I think they might have added that point of contention for like people who haven't played the game, just to like drive home the divide between the Fireflies and Fedra.
That would make a lot of sense. Yeah.
No, a lot of little nice touches, and I love the line where she's like, "Can I hold the gun?" Which goes back to all the other times she asked for guns and up to now. And I just love that line where she's like, "Can I hold the gun?" And she's like, "It's really heavy."
And then she's like,
"Can I have it
give it back?" Yeah, give it back.
It's like a callback for every time she said it to Joel. Hey, like every episode, she's like, "Can I have a gun? Can I have a gun?"
Right.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, all in all, great episode. There's also this other part that I thought was kind of funny too, where the zombie falls through the floor. That was also another.
Yeah.
That
was weird. The coked out man.
Oh my god!
His mouth.
Some of that Tennessee whiskey.
But he wasn't changing though, right? He just.
He didn't change. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He just. Yeah.
Well, she said he wasn't there the day before, so I'm thinking he just got drunk and was passed out, and they just took his body. That's what happened. He was just drunk, passed out, and they just took his stuff.
I mean, it did take
stories to these.
I'm surprised she didn't just kill the guy like before he changed. Why didn't he change? Just the thing.
He's probably not dead. He's probably just
passed
out. He's having a little nap.
I was gonna say after falling through the floor, I don't think he's still that now. You know what I wanted him to say? Well, fuck.
And then funny is right after he fell through, you just hear oh, she's alive.
All in all, this episode was great. I really enjoyed it for what it was. I can't wait to see what we have more, even though I know what's going to happen. And of course, Anthony also knows too. And, but there's going to be some things that are different. But I'm thinking that we're going to get a time jump a little bit because of the flashbacks and the way it cut to black. Because she did sew him up. And so we might actually see him still maybe slowly recovering.
Right.
And everything, but this is actually the first time I actually did a review on something to where I'm not doing predictions on, because I actually know most of the stuff that happens in the video game, but at the same time I'm able to just slowly digest it and enjoy it and just go along for the ride.
No, it's phenomenal. And I think what's the next one? The next one is I can't remember the cat's name from the game, the character that she runs into, but it looks like they're doing that for this next episode, which is, look, man, when it's all said and done, this season is finished. And if it's I want to say a perfect span from the start of the first game to the end of it, and including the Left Behind DLC, I don't know if there's anything out there that I would recommend more than this, because it's really good. So I don't know if they're going to, if this first season ends exactly where the first game ends, or if they're going to throw us for a loop and be like, we're going to throw a wrench in the gears and surprise everybody. So I don't know.
Right. Well, that's going to be it as far as this review goes. I do appreciate everyone on the panel for taking the time out of their night to do this. I do appreciate everyone on here, though. It's been fun. This has been a fun ride, and we have 2 episodes left over, and the next episode is called "When We Are in Need." That's going to be the next episode. So that's going to be a rough one, I think. So with that being said, it's always rough.
I've cried in every episode.
This one's gonna be real rough.
It makes me feel so much better, Jamie, because this episode I was like,
Maybe I'll just get the tissues and get the popcorn ready.
And it's so contradicting, because remember episode 1, and I was like, they're so bold when they kill kids. I love when they kill the kids, and then I'm like, I hate when they kill the kids.
That's funny. So my question for Rossi, what do you have going on as far as your show goes? Because I know that you have some stuff going on with the channel and stuff, things like that.
So let's see. So finally next week on the 8th, John and I will finally review the menu. That's going to happen after we go live here. We'll go live later on my channel. And then the following week, I'll have a comedian. Her name is Coco May. She's going to come on the show. We're going to review this new movie on Netflix called The Glass Onion. We're going to talk about that. That looks really good. And then on the 22nd, I'll be John and I are going to start reviewing this first season of The Sandman.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to do that. That's going to be really fun. 11 episodes. I think they have another season. And then on the 29th of March, Jay Stuckerville will come back, and he and I are going to talk the 1975 film, Richard Pryor's Which Way Is Up, which is really, really good. Yeah, that's going to be great. So kids today will know Eddie Murphy and all of those guys got, clumps and all of that. So that's my schedule for the month of March.
Yeah. Okay. And what about for you, Jason?
Jason will be back with me.
I will.
Jason,
I will. Yes.
Jason is coming back. At our April show, probably the first week of April, we're going to do another video game show, and we're going to do our 5 best and 5 worst shooters.
Oh shit!
Okay.
Nice.
Yes. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. That's dope.
All right. What about for you, Julie? Jules? No, I'm sorry.
Did you do that on purpose? Did you do that on purpose? I warned you, John. I warned you.
I'm sorry.
I can't let this one slide, so we'll talk after.
Okay. You can fire me and hire me back at cheaper wages.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so as of right now, we just have a few episodes of Servant left to cover, but we are doing our very first live this Thursday. I believe it's 7. So if you guys want to come join, that would be very fun. And then we have a pretty good lineup after that. I think we're starting with Yellow Jackets after. So
nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
What about for you, Anthony?
Yeah, pretty much the same stuff. Obviously, football season is done, so I'm not doing instant replay. I did start this week, though, the SAS Universe Daily, which is supposed to be me talking for 15 minutes, like every day at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time about whatever news that comes out. But every day this week, I've just talked until like 30-something minutes. So that's there's that. If the conversation is good, that's fire. But yeah, there's that every day. And then 4 Nerds on Thursdays, my show on Fridays, pretty much right now. And then whenever we get the gridiron stuff going, we're gonna fucking we're gonna be ready to go. Don knows what I'm talking about.
You know it, sir.
Yeah. Whenever that sit's ready, you'll
Very
know
excited.
it's ready. Yes. That's gonna be dope.
Can I mention something really quick? I totally forgot. I don't want to do this. This is wrong. I'm also on March 13. I'm going to be on the Back Look Cinema podcast. We're going to be talking about the 2001 film, The Brotherhood of the Wolves. So I wanted to point that out. You guys can catch it.
Yeah, and Zoe is a fantastic. I'm just going to point this out there. Zoe was a fantastic host for that. I was actually on his show doing a short circuit review a couple of months back, and he does a fantastic job at hosting. I definitely recommend you guys check out his podcast.
Absolutely.
But Jamie, what about you though? What do you have going on?
I watched my early screener for Gotham Knights, the TV series. So I watched episode 1 of that. So I'll do a review and put that up when I'm allowed, which I think I'm allowed to this weekend. And then The Last of Us and our weekly live streams, which I've been skipping for like probably 2 weeks because I've been a bit burnt out with like your stream, and then I jump on my buddy Mike's, and then my other buddy Tyrone. So I'm a little bit burnt out with the live streams, but maybe this week we'll jump on and talk some entertainment news. So yeah, jump along to that if you have time.
Cool. Okay. Great. All right, Don, what you got going on at Multiverse of Geekdom?
Yeah, no, we have our Star Wars show, we have our Lost recap show, we have our fantasy show, we have our DC comic book, our DC Marvel comic book show, and then we also have our Sunday wrap-up show. But we have an announcement next week. John and Anthony both know that will be something big that we are really excited for, so please check that out. It will be next Sunday.
Awesome.
So
I'm excited.
Big
I'm
announcement.
excited for this.
We're very excited for this.
Okay, so as far as my stuff goes, on the 4th, Tamika will be joining me, and we're going to be doing you.
I love that all these guests have no idea that
nobody
they're
knows.
I feel so honored.
But yeah, we're going to be doing our John Wick Chapter 1 review. That's going to be 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And then on the 10th, we're going to be doing John Wick Chapter 2.
Yes.
And that's going to be at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time.
Yes.
Then on the 16th, Josh will be on the show again, which is a Merc with a Movie blog. And we're going to be doing our Scream 6 spoiler review. We're going to be shooting our Scream 5 spoiler review coming up this Sunday. Or Tuesday, I believe. I think it's Tuesday that we decided. So it's going to be 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time for that. And then after that, on the 18th, Tamika will be back on again to do John Wick Chapter 3.
Yes.
At the same time, 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And then finally wrapping up the John Wick series, Tamika will be finishing that off with me on the 25th with John Wick Chapter 4.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Because what I want to do is I want to do these rewatches to get set for the other John Wick movies, and that's also what I'm doing for Scream. So I'm doing rewatches for Scream. And matter of fact, our Scream 4 review is actually up on the channel now, and then the audio format should drop on Friday because I'm trying to get Last of Us out first and then drop that on Friday. So, yeah. But let's just say my thoughts on Scream 4, I thought I was going to hate it. I wound up liking it a little bit more than I thought I would after not seeing it since 2011. So... So with that being said, that's everything that's going on over here at Movie Lovers Unite. I appreciate everybody once again on the panel. You guys have been fantastic. I can't wait to have you guys back here again to talk about episode 8 of The Last of Us. It's been fun. And always until next time, guys. Bye-bye.